All right, so the next question is, before you had your campaigns, could you talk about your previous startups or ventures?
Sure, and I think this is the most relevant for you all, really. You guys are between 6th and 12th grades for the most part, and then your parents who forced you to be here. Anyway, so when I was your age, I didn't know what most things were, and so I just wanted to do what my I kind of wanted to do what my parents did, and then so my father was a PhD in physics, and ordinarily if I say PhD it would be highly unusual, but in this crowd it's actually pretty normal. There are probably some PhD parents here, and so I wanted to be at first a lawyer, and then a business person, and then an entrepreneur, and then a nonprofit founder, and then now political figure. And so when you're young, you think that people have jobs. And that is sort of true. And if you're fortunate, you get to a point where maybe you don't have a job that is determined for you or chosen for you. Like the people who started the nonprofits that sponsor this event, they didn't have to do that. That's not really a job. It's like they determined, I think that there is a need for example, an Asian American community organization of North Carolina. So then they got some friends together and said, let me start this organization. They volunteered. So that's what I did for a number of years. I started a nonprofit. I think when you're young, you have a relatively limited sense of what it is that people do for a living, based primarily on what your parents do. So you look and say, okay, my parents do this, and then maybe I like it, maybe I want to do that. And then you can even look around the community and you get a sense of when you're a kid in particular, what is it? It's like, astronaut, firefighter, like these things that frankly most of you will not become. And then your viewpoint gets a little more sophisticated. So for me, the main things I did before I ran for office was I started a business that did not work out, and then I became the CEO of a business that did quite well. And then something happened to it called being acquired. Does anyone know what being acquired means? He's nodding, so what does that mean?
Someone bought you for money.
Yeah, someone bought us for money, that's right. And if your business gets acquired, typically it's a good thing. It's not always a good thing. Sometimes it's not a good thing, but in my case it was a good thing. So what happens after the business gets acquired is that whoever owned that business got money. And then there's typically a bit of flexibility in terms of what they do next. So what I did next, which was a very big left turn, was I started a nonprofit, and then I ran that nonprofit for 6.5 years. So for young people thinking, hey, I want to do this, what typically happens is that you do this, and then you do this, and you do this, and each of these things can be slightly different. And then what you end up doing might be, quite dissimilar to what your first job out of college was.